Good day to everyone. I am Javi,
And I am Kyla.
and together we're here to welcome you to the pilot episode of the Tech Talk. This is the first ever podcast made to enlighten you about everything that speaks tech, its history, its influence, the people involved in its advancement, all of it. We are so excited to talk about what's happening in the modern world today and how it affects each one of us.
Yes, especially in the current situation that the whole world is in right now, the pandemic. From students to teachers to workers to businessmen, we are all compelled to use modern technology, and that includes cellular phones, laptops, personal computers, and of course, the internet. That is why we want to share with you, our dear listeners, all that there is to know about the said matter.
Okay, so for our first episode, you will be listening to a well-known political scientist slash research investigator in Sweden as he expounds basic knowledge about modern technology and its implications to the global society. He will also tell us how fake news, or rather fake propaganda, is being made and spread in the 21st century and how we can prevent it from spreading, especially during times like this, when the internet plays an important role in maintaining the flow of information around the globe. By the end of this episode, we guarantee you will learn a lot and be appraised about this very significant subject that has already become part of our lives.
Before we begin, don't forget to follow us in your favorite app so that you won't miss our next episode. You can also follow us on Instagram at the Tech Talk, on Twitter at TechTalkPH, and visit techtalk.com for more info about me, Javi, and the team, of course, the show.
Now it's time to get some deeper insights from our expert guest for our pilot episode.
It is my honor to introduce to you our guest for today. As we've said earlier, our guest is a political scientist and a researcher specializing in democracy. He's the principal investigator and the founding director for the Varieties of Democracy, or VDEM, Institute and Project. He's also a professor in the Department of Political Science in the University of Gothenburg, with a passion for democratization and political organizations. But today, changing his course for a bit, he's going to share with us some of his knowledge and thoughts about the internet and modern technology and its impact on the world and us people. All the way from Stockholm, Sweden, let us welcome Mr. Stefan Lindberg.
Hello, everyone. Good day, Javi and Kyla. Thank you for inviting me to be part of your first episode for your podcast.
And it's really an honor to have you here with us right now. We are so excited to get to know you and your thoughts about our topic for today, which is one of the things that play a significant role in today's society.
Yes, the internet, as well as modern technology.
Indeed, the advancement of these networks have contributed greatly to the current state of the global society. But we believe that there are other details or information about these things that people use on a daily basis, from the minute they wake up until the minute they close their eyes to sleep. We're looking forward for your aid to enlighten us about it.
There's not much to know about the internet and modern technology. That there's still I think that it's still unknown to others due to the vast network provided by the internet and the access of individuals to more advanced inventions. I think that many are already aware of the implications and consequences of these things to everyone and society in general. But I hope that I can be of any help to you guys, and I will do my best to provide you with sufficient information, especially for your listeners.
Thank you, Mr. Lindberg.
As we proceed with the discussion, the first thing we want to know is throughout the decades, what are the changes that occurred in the internet or to technology that have made a big impact on globalization, say maybe on politics or on the global political economy?
Thank you for the question, Javi. So, throughout the years, technology has made a significant impact and numerous contributions to the growth of the global political economy. According to Brass and Hornsby, during the first industrial revolution from 1760 to 1840, the creation of steam engines fundamentally shaped how different states interact. Due to its invention, supply and availability of goods had increased. Furthermore, the capacity and transit time of people and goods have also improved. With this, goods become cheaper and more accessible to consumers. The technological advancement during this era helped strengthen the contemporary economy. Light bulbs, telephone and combustion engines, and electrification were then developed during the Second Industrial Revolution, ranging from 1870 to 1914. Because of this improvement, machine based production processes were widely adopted throughout different states. This improved the quality rate of goods. The production and transport times of these goods even became shorter than those from the first Industrial Revolution. Moreover, there was an increase in the number of goods being transported, which resulted in a surge in economic growth. Technological advancements during this era promoted faster international trade and interconnectedness between different states, which brought forth the development of the globalization process. Then, during the Third Industrial Revolution, in the years from 1947 up to 2010, personal computers, information communication technologies like mobile phones and the internet were developed. This set forth the digital revolution as it is known. During this time, private enterprises were able to easily reach broader markets, and the types of services offered to consumers have expanded. In addition to that, the flow of information and money between individuals had also become faster. These technological advancements decreased the physical and geographical barriers between economies worldwide and influenced the globalization process. During this time, people thought that these were the best developments, technologically speaking, that were developed by mankind. However, during the Fourth Industrial Revolution, which started in 2010 up to current day, people were able to develop even greater advancements to technology. This era gave birth to artificial intelligence, automatic enterprise, blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and the Internet of Things. These advancements were developed to maintain a degree of intelligence, anticipate consumers' preferences, and respond to defined problems, guaranteeing to reshape the global economy significantly. Despite the various advantages that these technological advancements have brought throughout history, there are also disadvantages that people should always take notes of. First is that these advancements, especially machines, automation, and artificial intelligence, threaten to replace humans in the workplace, specifically low skilled workers. This can result in further marginalization of the poor. Another consequence is that it gives rise to inequality, especially for third world countries compared to more progressive and advanced countries. Low income nations may experience pressure in investing in upgrading their technologies to cope up with current developments. Moreover, these advancements in technologies can give rise to problems in international security and data breach, especially that everything is now easily accessible with the help of the internet. Lastly, if there are no considerable opportunities for economic development, these advancements can trigger political instability and insecurity at the global level.
Wow, technology really does evolve alongside us, right, Javi?
Yes, indeed, Kyla. And it really has made quite an impact on all of us, even if we weren't aware about it. Now, before we proceed to our next question, I would just like to remind everyone, all of our listeners out there, to follow us on Instagram at the Tech Talk, also on Twitter on Tech Talk PH, and to visit techtalk.com for more info. If you have any questions or feedback about today's episode, you can also email us at hello@techtalk.ph.
So now, moving on, Mr. Lindbergh, we would like to know what your thoughts are about the rise of trolling and fake propaganda and social media. What do you think accounts for it?
Good question. Troll accounts and fake propaganda, also commonly called fake news, are negatively affecting many aspects of communication. It primarily overpowers other news channels, and the rate at which things are spread lead to more people believing that these articles are true, when they're essentially false or missing important information or context for a given article. In addition, people can spread misinformation easily as facts since there are many programs that can manipulate things such as images, videos, etc. This leads to more convincing lies being shared at faster rates, and people with strong beliefs can reinforce a message since they are able to have their voice reach a wider audience, who in turn are able to sway those who are unaware or just gullible. There can be many different types of motivations to creating fake news, though mainly fake news is made for two reasons. One is it is made by someone who wishes to ruin the reputation of an individual, a group, or even a belief by spreading rumors and lies, going as far as making detailed stories about it to make it even more believable. Times like these where people are always online, publishers of fake news also often see it as an opportunity to generate ad revenue as they get lots of people to view their articles on their websites. Also, some individuals and groups create and distribute fake news to spread digital propaganda and influence political discourse and electoral outcomes. Others do it for purely financial reasons. Fake news can generate a lot of web traffic and therefore a lot of digital advertising revenue, while still others do it out of mischief or to undermine political or religious dogma, or even simply for the challenge of seeing if the story can go viral. Furthermore, this somehow accounts for autocratization of states. According to Dr. Chan from the International Political Science Association, disinformation and fake news can be an information strategy of autocracy promotion. Empirical data from this study confirm that democracies are more easily attacked when they have authoritarian states capable of manipulating online information. It is clear that the fake news industry is sophisticated, widespread, and very well established internationally, and that it is being used as a tool of individuals, activist groups, commercial organizations, and governments to influence public perception and manipulate democratic outcomes and public policy.
Gee, it's very alarming that fake news is not only used to destroy someone's reputation, but also to cause mass hysteria, just like what happened with the pandemic.
It's also pretty crazy how easy it is to spread and how believable it can be. It's actually pretty annoying, even though like fake news gets debunked. There's still some people out there who will believe in that fake news. But yeah, since Kyla brought up the pandemic, for my next question, how do people use the internet, and how does it make a difference in globally, particularly in this time of the pandemic?
Well, how the internet is used is different to each individual, but generally, it is used as a giant hub of information, whether it be past knowledge, present information, or predictions for the future. Social media has become one of the most used forms of communication as well. It has been indispensable since things at the beginning of the lockdown in 2020 required strict measurements when dealing with other people face to face. A perfect display of how the internet is used right now in the pandemic is that everything has gone online. So, everything from online schooling, online shopping, and online video calls has become an important part of the way people live right now. In the pandemic, everyone needed a way to keep updated with all the latest information relating to current events. News of quarantine updates, community guidelines, statistics of cases, new variants, vaccine availability, and many more things were things that we wanted to learn in a way that was so easily accessible with it just being a single search away through the internet. From a social standpoint, it has helped many people keep in touch and maintain relationships. Video calls have allowed individuals to have that much needed visual aspect when socializing. Social media platforms keep everyone up to date with their friends and family and their current status. It has helped keep many people somewhat sane.
Yeah, I can't imagine going through this whole pandemic without being able to check on updates on my phone, or probably go crazy if I couldn't have video calls with my friends and family.
Can't agree more with you. And as we're approaching the final part of our discussion, let me thank everyone listening to our pilot episode. Please don't forget to share it with your peers and follow us on our social media accounts. On Instagram at the Tech Talk and on Twitter at TechTalkPH. Thank you. Finally, we're now down to the last question, Mr. Lindbergh. Knowing all of these things that you have shared with us, can you please tell us if there is anything that we can do about harmful propaganda and radical messages? Like, what measures can be made in order to lessen its spread, especially today?
Thank you for that question. Well, the first measure to combat the spread of fake news is to do research on the given source and to not blindly spread that information just because it has a strong title, which can elicit a very emotional reaction. Of course, we need to read a variety of sources to see what different outlets are saying about the same issue. At this point, it is hard to argue that even the oldest and reliable news sources are actually impartial, but by consulting with multiple sources, you can figure out what is factual and what is biased. In addition, you must also be critical about free news sites. Many of these free news sites rely on contributors and not a dedicated staff of journalists. Those people are underpaid, overworked, and are not held to the strict ethical standards of traditional journalists. While it is fine to continue reading them, we must keep in mind that as we are consuming news, it is also important to remember that you can lightly verify any story that seems suspicious to you. And that is actually the beauty of the internet. It has made it possible for everyone to be a publisher. While that has brought us a lot of amazing things, it has also created an environment where fake news is a real and consistent problem. But you, as a critical, intelligent human being, have the power to parse it out, use it wisely. Finally, another way to address this threat is to step up with direct engagement between government and citizens. By doing direct engagement, it enables a government organization to address citizen questions and comments directly and hopefully deal with any rumors and fake news that might be circulating before it does significant damage.
That was a pretty insightful discussion, Mr. Lindberg. Thank you very much for sharing all those points.
Yes, I am glad to be part of this show. Thank you for inviting me.
It's our pleasure. I've definitely learned a lot, and I believe that our listeners have as well.
Yes, you're right, Javi. And I just want to share what struck me the most was that technology is an inevitable part of our everyday life. We are now living in a world where almost, if not everything, revolves around technology. Of course, it has a lot of advantages, like the ones mentioned by our guest a while ago, but let's also remember that it also has disadvantages if we did not use it responsibly. How about you?
For me, it was really just thinking about how much harder things would have been during the pandemic, if not for the internet and the technology we have. I think it has been super helpful in just receiving the latest updates, like our guest said, in the statistics of cases, the new variants, the guidelines, and more recently the updates on vaccines. But of course, like what Mr. Lindbergh said, we must stay critical with the things that we see on the internet because it's not always reliable.
To our audience joining us right now, feel free to chat or mention us in your favorite social media sites. You can also email us at hello@techtalkph for your comments about our discussion today. Also, of course, please send us questions or any topic suggestions that you want us to talk about in our next episodes.
And this has been the Tech Talk. I am Javi,
And I am Kyla.
together with our special guest, Mr. Stefan Lindberg. Once again, thank you, sir. This was a very thoughtful discussion. Also, thank you to the team behind the successful pilot episode of the Tech Talk, our editor Moira, and producers Marie, Alfonso, and Eldrick. You can find us at our official website, techtalk.com. Shout out to the first and top listener of today's episode, Mr. Malbarosa. And thank you for listening until the end.
If you have any feedback on today's episode, you can tweet us at TechTalkPH or tag us in your Instagram stories at the Tech Talk or reach us through our email hello@techtalk.ph. We'd really love to hear from you. Join us again next time for more fruitful tech discussions. Thanks for listening.